The power of a single entity or individual is remarkable. But when those individuals come together in perfect harmony, that's when the real magic happens. It's amazing what we can achieve when we work as one. The strength and support and unity is where true progress is born. Together, we can grow, create new and brilliant things, find innovative solutions, and spark inspiration in others. By collaborating, teaching others, and sharing our wisdom, we have the opportunity to change the world for our people and planet, for the greater good. It's about the power of the collective. It is unity. It is Kishugu, for the greater good.
Kishugu has its roots over 26 years ago when we, with the original Forest Fire Association in the Lowveld, where we did firefighting with aircraft in the forestry industry. And over a long period of time it grew, but there was always a vision. I've had a vision to have a global company, specifically initially in fire management. And it morphed into the FFA group of companies, having its roots in the Firefighting Association, and recently as this week, last week, we rebranded to Kishugu. Fire management is not what everybody thinks, just suppressing fires, because that's where the damage occurs. But the big challenge is to get farmers to understand that it's not just putting out fires, that it's actually it's a process through a whole year. Fire prevention and management, and at the end of the day, fire suppression should be one of the smallest components.
So if I said to you, Chris, I'm setting up a farm, I need some advice, how do you go from step one all the way through?
Well, what I do is I put together a management plan, look at your fuel loads, look at where you should put fire breaks in, manage the fuel loads. If you're not grazing them or utilizing them, burn them. And then put in place a management plan where you can, in terms of your management plan, where you can react if you have wildfires.
And I said to you about equipment then. Do you also supply all the equipment?
We do. The company Kishugu has a whole lot of different brands and divisions, but we look at what we call the cradle to grave model. So in fire management, we offer from training all the way through to burning, suppression, ground and air, and then we manufacture all the tools. We manufacture fire trucks. We've got a company that distributes fire management tools. We do the whole value chain.
On the agricultural side, how much of an expense is it to a farmer to become properly involved in fire prevention?
In terms of what a farmer needs to do, the minimum he needs to do is join the local Fire Protection Association, which is formed in terms of the Act, Act 101 of 1998. And normally joining it would cost you in some areas as low as 200 Rand a year, and it depends based on a hectare basis. But what that does is it gives you an organization which you link to, and you have access to a dispatch and coordination system, and then farmers can help each other. Look, in terms of the act, the farmer has to have his own equipment and prepare his own fire breaks. But what can happen is you can have a collective. If a group of farmers want to work together. But asking about the expense of fire management, it's not that expensive. If you've got a grain farm of 1,000 hectares and you train up 5 or 6 of your laborers that work for you, you buy them cotton overalls, which is overalls they use. You just focus on buying cotton and not having something with no plastic in it. And you buy simple beaters. Then you've got a firefighting team, and you've got a bakisaki, which is a slip-on unit on the back of your vehicle. You've got tractors and implements which you already spray herbicide with. You can convert to spraying. For very little cost, you can develop a fire suppression and even a fire management tool, because those 6 people are trained up properly. They're qualified. They have the right training, and it's 2-3 days training. They're then able to apply fire safely on the farm and fight fire safely.
I'm going to digress a little bit, because with great sadness I've watched many occasions the side of Table Mountain burning. Now, if the right equipment was there, could that have been prevented?
I think you must look.
Am I being unfair?
No. But it's a good question. The problem with fire management is the public look at suppression, And they think that if you can have a bigger helicopter and better equipment and bigger yellow or red fire trucks, it's going to take away the problem. It's not. For example, Table Mountain, which is in the Western Cape biome, the fynbos that occurs there, it depends. It can vary between 7 and 30 years, but it needs to burn. It actually thrives on fire. It's adapted to fire. So if you keep fire out of the system, everything will burn eventually. Once the conditions are right, it will burn. It's flammable and it requires fire to rejuvenate. So the idea is that because it's in an area that's being managed, the fire should be applied on a controlled basis, not allowing it to burn under those really disastrous conditions when that normally happens. So if you don't have controlled fire and you allow it to grow to the point of where you have a fire, then it becomes catastrophic.